Did you know that since the very first moment you were born into this world, exiting the dark, warm, and hopefully loving environment of your mother out into the bright, dry, and rather cold environment of this world, you have been amassing an army. And that army is either working for you or against you today. Hi guys, my name is Kurt Provost, your guide to all things NuSkin, and today's episode, in case you were wondering where I was going with that, is all about the microbiome. That is the fascinating hidden world of the foreign bodies that are existing within us that outnumber human cells. There's roughly 38 to 39 trillion foreign bodies living within us compared to 35, 37 trillion human cells. That's right, guys, we're outnumbered within our own bodies. And yet they are so tiny that they only make up about 1 to 3% of our overall mass. But that's not to say they're not important, because they have a huge impact on how we feel. They are responsible for producing all sorts of different things, serotonin being one of them. They are responsible largely for many of the immune responses that we have, and of course, all important, digestion, which is going to be the focus of this episode today. The reason being is that we are launching a brand new product in the Pacific region that goes by the name of Biome. Now, if you're in North America, this may already be familiar to you because it has already launched in North America and it's going gangbusters there, super popular, and that's why they decided, you know what, let's bring it down under. Those Aussies will need a bit of help with their digestion as well. And we sure do, because we eat generally the American diet, just like much of the world. And unfortunately, the American diet, or the Western diet, I'll call it, hasn't done wonders for our microbiome. It's been feeding the wrong army. It's been feeding the one that makes us feel depressed. It's been feeding the one that suppresses our immune responses. It's been feeding the one that causes us great discomfort and causing things like indigestion, irritable bowel, bloating, all that stuff that happens when you eat something that you know you probably shouldn't. So if that sounds like you, this may just be a product you want to stay tuned for. Let's dive into what this is, what it does, and what are some of the key ingredients that are helping with that process. Biome is both a prebiotic and a postbiotic. So let's explore what those words mean, because many people may not be aware. There are 3 different types of biotics that you'll find out there in the market. And the first one is a prebiotic. So as the word suggests, it comes before. So it is about providing the body with all the important ingredients that your microbiome loves to feed on. Now, if you're eating a great diet, it's going to be full of prebiotics. So prebiotics come from things like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. It's the non-digestible nutrients, the fibers that are passing through to the lower intestines, where majority of that digestive related microbiome exists, and they're going to be feeding on that. Now, if we're not feeding lots of that, we can be feeding lots of processed food from the Western diet, which is going to be encouraging the type of microbiome that you don't want. So this is really like that story about the American Indian sharing with his son, saying that there are 2 wolves within each man, one for the good and one for evil, and they're both fighting. And the grandson says, but grandfather, which wolf will win? And he says, well, the one you feed, of course. And that is a kind of a moral story about feeding the best side of ourselves. But I'm going to take that in a literal sense and say that it's important, and a prebiotic is assisting us to feed the better side of our microbiome, because there is a very real war going on within us, and we want to be making sure we're feeding the right side. So that's what a prebiotic is. And then you've got probiotic. So that is living bacteria. That is something that is alive and that you hope it's going to reach your lower intestine intact and alive. Now, the downside of most probiotics is that they don't make it past the stomach because they get burnt up by the acids that are breaking down food there. But there are certain strains that are robust and resilient enough to make it through those highly acidic areas and get to where they need to be to colonize in the right places. So you want the good bacteria colonizing, and you want to discourage the bad bacteria from colonizing. Now, the more of the good bacteria there is, the less likely there is going to be large colonies of the negative bacteria. So that's what probiotics are essentially hoping for. You want to choose your probiotic carefully because many of them are simply a waste of money because they are not standardized, because they are not robust and resilient enough to actually pass through the digestive system and get to where they need to be. Many of them will be burnt up in the process and you're essentially wasting your money. Check out this video here for the one that I use and recommend most people to use for the reasons that I just mentioned and a few more. And that brings us to the third type of biotic, and that is a postbiotic. Now, only a few years ago, most people hadn't really heard of postbiotics, but today you're hearing a lot more about them and you will see more from them in the future because they are incredibly stable substances. So it really allows people to deliver many of the benefits that you're getting from probiotics without the instability issue. So what is a postbiotic? Well, it's the beneficial excretions or secretions, sounds a bit better, the cell walls. It's the beneficial substances that are happening as a result of the bacteria without the bacteria actually being alive. They can still transport those beneficial substances if the bacteria is dead. And that makes it something that is incredibly useful. We actually use it in skincare ranges with NuSkin. You can check out the Nutricentials pumps, this video here. That's one of the product lines using postbiotics, but also, of course, we have it within internal products, and Biome is one of them. The key ingredients here are both prebiotic and postbiotic. That's the focus there. We have other products for probiotic. So what are those key ingredients? Well, one of them is called FOS, and I'm going to have to read this one out. It is fructooligosaccharides. It is a prebiotic, and it selectively promotes beneficial bacteria because you want to be selective about that. You don't want to be just promoting all bacteria because, again, which side are you feeding? Feed the beneficial one. It is a really low dose that's actually required to be beneficial for the body, and for that reason it's being tolerated very well because the smaller the dose that you're actually giving people, the less likely you're going to have someone that's intolerant to that ingredient, because we're not all the same. As I detailed in the beginning, we all have our own personal fingerprint, our microbiome fingerprint that's unique to us, and our own unique digestive system that is reacting to some things and not to others. So if we can give the same benefit to everyone with low doses, that is going to generate much less discomfort if you are one of those people that are very sensitive. The next one is a postbiotic, and I'm going to need to read it. It is Bifidobacterium lactis BPL1. It is a naturally occurring bacteria that is isolated from healthy humans, and it works as both an alive probiotic and a heat-treated postbiotic. So for that reason, very stable ingredient, and it's promoting a lot of that beneficial bacteria within, or to colonize the right area. If it makes it there alive, great, does that. If it's making it there dead, you still get the beneficial postbiotic nature of it. And again, there is a bunch of science behind this ingredient. NuSkin only ever does things that have the representation of science behind it, that they can back up with the data, because it's not just making a claim and saying, well, this ingredient and this ingredient and this ingredient, I hope it works. No, it's about picking the best ingredient from the scientific data and putting it together and then testing that again to make sure it is delivering the results that they are theorizing that it will. I'll cover two more ingredients just quickly. The second last one is caffeine. It is a healthier source of energy. We're all aware of the benefits of caffeine, so you will be more alert, more focused, increased performance. For those who are like me and don't consume caffeine, then there will be a non-caffeine version available eventually. Depends on the demand. In Australia, we will be launching with the caffeine version first, and we'll see how people like it, and we'll go from there. In other markets, there is a non-caffeine version available. The last ingredient is, of course, pomegranate. Now, of course, there's going to be an antioxidant rich ingredient within this product because antioxidants play a vital role in our overall well-being, and they really tie in well with the microbiome. The microbiome is a big fan of antioxidants. Now, pomegranate has many potent antioxidants within it that are helping to fight free radical damage, and it also contains 30% of, I'm going to have to read this one, punicalagins, high concentration of polyphenol antioxidants within that weird name that I just read out. And these can be transformed by the microflora into metabolites. Now, what does that mean? I'm not entirely sure because I'm not a scientist, but it's some beneficial thing for our overall health. So that is why it's included in here. Now, what exactly is the new biome going to be doing? It's a focus on intestinal health. So it's supporting intestinal health, it supports beneficial intestinal flora, it helps maintain healthy digestion, and it supports your antioxidant network. No wonder with the pomegranate addition there. You can take it any time during the day. You only really need one sachet per day. So it's not something that you have to have in the morning. There's no kind of right or wrong time. This fits in with you. I do know some people are mixing it in with their protein shakes or smoothies that they're having, but I find just mixing it up in a glass of water is really tasty and a lovely way to start the day if that's your thing. Or you can have kind of little afternoon pep you up and help your digestion there. So raspberry watermelon lemonade flavor, it is vegetarian and gluten free, and it's free from artificial colors, flavors, and sweeteners. So that is the quick introduction to new biome for the Pacific region, and for those in other markets who haven't heard about this yet, but you can get access to it. If you want to get your hands on this awesome product, you can contact me through any of the links below, or find me at Kurt Provost on Facebook, Instagram, and kurtnuskin@gmail.com. If you don't already have someone who is guiding you through this process, then you can also find in the description below a link to my Calendly where you can schedule a quick consultation with me so we can be actually face to face, and I can figure out exactly what it is that you need or what will be the best products from the NuSkin range for you at this current moment in your life. And also if you want some guidance on what to do in regards to setting up your business and getting started with this company. That is only for the guys who don't have someone already, you don't have a sponsor, you don't have someone to work with. So you can find that all in the description below. That's all for today, guys. My name is Kurt Provost, your guide to all things NuSkin. Be sure to hit the like button on this video if you enjoyed it and got some value. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section. And also subscribe. There are over 10,000 subscribers on this channel. Many people keeping in the loop of what's happening with this incredible company and the massive product range that they have. I'll see you in a future video, all through one of the links below. Ciao, guys.